Hello everyone, it's a real pleasure to welcome you to the end of our second week of the CAS Virtual Showcase 2021. In this session, we're going to be looking at data and data logging. So I'm really excited to welcome our two special guests today. We've got Anna and Roxana. My name's Sarah Zaman. I'm the Outreach Manager for the Northeast and your host for this session. We're also joined by Wendy Piccinici, who is the Outreach Manager for CAS in London and the East of England. Wendy is going to be your moderator today and she'll be monitoring the question window. Before we start, I've got a couple of things to share. In terms of housekeeping during the session, please use the question window on the right-hand side of your screen to ask questions or share comments. The top of the window has got an orange rectangle which can be expanded or collapsed. Wendy will be making a note of the questions and these will be answered if time allows at the end. If time doesn't allow, responses will be posted on the CAS forum and across the CAS social media channels. So please tweet, retweet, post, share and comment on today's event using the hashtag #CASVirtual21. Don't forget the capital letters. And as a reminder, all attendees are in listen-only mode. Okay, so I'm going to introduce our first guest today. So Roxana Escobedo is an interaction designer, works at Arduino as a lead education trainer. She's got a background in design, communication and education with an MSc in interaction design from Malmö University in Sweden. She's got experience in research and creative teaching and learning with technology, as well as in designing learning environments for students and children with different learning abilities. I'll pass over to you, Roxana.
Hi, thank you, Sarah. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining. And today I'm going to talk to you about the Arduino Science Journal app. So just let me hit the present mode. Yeah, can you see my whole screen, right?
Yes.
So welcome and thank you again for joining. So today I'm talking about the Arduino Science Journal app. And this is what I want to cover today. So I will start very quickly talking about what is Arduino Education, and then I jump into the Arduino Science Journal app, and I will tell you what it is, how does it work, what you can do with it, learning outcomes and benefits. I show you a couple of demos, and then what can you do after you finish working with the platform that it comes with the app, and what is new on the Arduino Science Journal app. So I would like to talk to you briefly about what Arduino Education is. So one of our main goals is to enable anyone to innovate by making complex technologies easy to use, very hands-on and very fun. So what we do is like we offer STEAM content, curriculum, alignment, learning platforms, hardware and software in one kit. So teachers don't look for resources anywhere else because we know they don't have sometimes enough time to do that. We very focus on developing 21st century skills and also on project-based learning, very hands-on, and we offer training and support for educators. So this is our educational portfolio. So today I'm going to focus here in the science and in the Arduino Science Journal app, which is suited for students from 10 to 18 years old. So the Science Journal app is a free open source app that allows you to gather data about the world from different sensors that you have in your smartphones. And you can also work with external sensors and with Arduino boards. So the cool thing about this is that students can measure the results of their experiments, taking notes, taking pictures, wherever they are, because you use your phone to do that. So you can be wherever you are. It doesn't need a Wi-Fi. So you just need your Bluetooth and you start experimenting with the sensors. The app was designed specifically to teach the scientific method, problem solving, applying mathematical skills, etc. It's aligned with the UK National Curriculum for Science and the Next Generation Science Standards in the US. And the subjects that are covered in the app are the physics, chemistry, and data literacy. So the app, as I mentioned, is recommended for students from 10 to 18 years, and the app it comes also in 45 different languages. It's compatible with Android, iOS, and also Chromebooks. And if you want to further experiment, you can also connect Arduino boards. So we recommend you to use the Nano 383 Bless Sense board, or also the Maker 1010 board. So, or any compatible board that has Bluetooth, you can work with that. And but yeah, that's what, if you want to experiment further, but you can use just the sensors on your phone, and you can do a lot of very fun activities. So if you already have your lesson plans, you can enhance them by using the app to make this more engaging with students, to actually visualize data, because sometimes we do experiments and we just say to the students, imagine this, imagine that. But you can, with the phone, with the app, you actually can see the data, listen to the data, and also manage the data, learn how to interpret the data too. And you can use it in the classroom, at home, wherever you are, again, because you only need your phone. So it's very convenient. You can take with you your tool and start experimenting. So it's very easy to use. You just start recording your experiments. You can store the data on your phone. You can download it at CDS and then start interpreting your data. And what you can do with the app. So all the sensors you have on your phone, you can start experimenting with those. You have light, sound, acceleration, pressure, etc. As I mentioned before, you can also connect your different Arduino boards, and you can experiment further with your phone and the board. You can take notes, take pictures of your experiments with your phone, and add it to all your data and experiments. And now we also have an integration with Google Drive, so you can store all your data, all your information there, and you can access also there very easily. And you can export, record, and then export everything into CSV files format, so then you can export that to a spreadsheet, for example. And you can also create triggers for recording your data. So you can also use sound to see not only the graphs, but all the sounds to all your data. So that's also very interesting to try. And these are some of the learning outcomes. So again, this is for trying the scientific method. So the students will be encouraged to do that, and also to problem solving, use mathematical skills, understand how this process of the science methods work, different types of scientific inquiry. Also, they will learn how to present their observations, all the data, how to make hypotheses and try the hypothesis, and also a proper way to carry out the experiments. So they will learn to use all of this, among others. And the Science Journal app comes with a platform. Anyone can just go there and look at the experiment. So this is open, so you don't need to buy anything or nothing. You just go there to the Arduino Science Journal platform, and you will see different experiments. And this is the structure of all the experiments. So at the beginning, you will see an introduction of the topic. As I mentioned before, you can have experiments about motion, sounds, lights, etc. So you will have a short introduction. Then the learning objectives, then the tools and materials you will need to start with your activity. Then all the preparation you need, like on your phone, make sure all the sensors are there. And then you start with the actual experiment. And then after that, we'll ask the students to gather the data and then make sense of the data. And then we have a really nice section called Did You Know?, where we give extra information about the experiment. Then we have the discussion part, where they will talk about the data and their findings. And then we also have a section to encourage the students to explore more. So they have a lesson, but what else if they change this? What if they now add the sensor or add this to the experiments, and what happens? So it's very interesting that you have the lesson, but always it's about encourage students to do more, to go one step forward. So this is what you're going to find on the platform for all the experiments. So I want to show you two very simple demos. So the Doppler effect and a Zipline. So on this lesson, the Doppler effect, the idea is that the students observe or measure the changes in decimals around the sound and the source of the sound. So this is an activity that can take around 30 minutes. And then the only thing they need is a speaker and the phone and the app, of course. And then they will see all the changes depending on the track they choose and the distance from the music source or the sound source and the phone. So they will also on the platform, we tell them the setup, what kind of sensor they need on their phone, so they get ready. And I want to show you this very quick demo on how the experiment looks like now when you have your phone ready. So as you can see, this is very simple experiment. They just are going to experiment with sound and know what about is the Doppler effect. So it's very simple. As you can see on the phone, you just use the microphone and you play a track, and then you start seeing the data in form of a graph. So once you finish this, you can download here on these 3 dots all the data that you get from your experiment and export that as a CSV file, and then the students can interpret the data. So after they do this, then they are encouraged to try different sounds from a different distance and see what happens with the sound. So it's a very simple experiment. And then the other one is a Zipline. So again, they are encouraged to try to make a device like a Zipline with whatever material they have at home. And then they will learn about gravity, friction, engineering, different materials. So it is very simple. They can do something like this. The video is not working. Or let me try again if it works. Yes. So with every material you have at home, you can build this. And then the students are encouraged to see, oh, here is like an example of what you get with that experiment. So they are encouraged to use different material, different angles, different things that they put on. They also encourage to maybe try to build some storytelling about the experiment. So in the platform, you will get some ideas. And the idea is that you get the experiment, but students can add many things like this storytelling to make like more engaging all the experimentation part. So again, it's very easy. You just have all the materials here and then you start recording with your phone and you will see all the graphs and all the data. And then the students will study the data, what it happens when they change the material, the distance, etc. And if you want to experiment further, as I mentioned before, you can start working with the app, but also with an Arduino board. In this case, on the platform, you will, all the experiments we have there are with the Arduino Nano Blessens board. So in this case, we have wine spinners activity. So you only need some cardboard. You put the board there, you connect it to the computer, and what you are going to see or you are going to use is the light sensor that you have on the board. And then you see how the light sensors react together with the motion. So you just spin with the device, and then you will start collecting the information from the light sensor. So let me see if we can check the video. Okay. Let me try again. Okay, now it works. So you just do that, and then here you will have the reading from the sensor. Let's see. Get to the next one and try again. It's not working. but it works the same. You just connect the board to your phone via Bluetooth, and then you will get on the information here and start experimenting with the light and the motion with the board, so you can go a step forward. And also I want to show you very quickly how the platform looks like, because I mentioned that you can access the content. So this is the Science Journal platform, and as you can see, we have different modules where you learn about electricity, light, motion, and sound. And we have different activities to try. So with different sensors, with different material. So you have a short introduction, you have the estimated time for the activity, the learning outcomes. Here, all the tools and materials you need. Probably some activities you will need cardboard, pencil, glue, etc. Very simple materials that you can get at home. The preparation part, and then start with the experimentation. Here we use cardboard, for example, in this activity. So everything is step by step. And then we will tell you how sensor we will need to get ready, get your phone ready. And then you start with the gathering the data. So what to expect in this experiment. And then here is the did you know? So you will learn more about the experiment, some concepts that maybe the students are not familiar with. So scale, slope, shape, etc. And then it's the explore more. Also on some experiments, we have a PDF form, very short, with some questions that they can answer based on the experimentations that they get here. So, and also we have a glossary sections with all the terms or the vocabulary that we use during the platform. If they're not familiar, they can come here and read more about that. And also we have a getting started section. And here we tell you what to expect, what are the things you need, and how all the platform works. So that's the platform. And then, okay, I covered this. And we are constantly updating the platform, where we recently added 7 new activities. So we have now more activities to try. And also what we did is like a Google integration with the Science Journal app. So now you can sign up on your Google account, and then you can store all your data, all your experiments in Google, and you can access also them very easy. So we also have a COPPA compliance because Google Drive, you cannot use Google Drive unless you are 14 years and up. So we also are compliant with that. But you can also have access to the phone and to your app. Like, it's a really cool integration. But if you don't want to use Google Drive, it's fine. You just use your phone and it's fine. But this is a really cool thing because, again, you can go to your Google Drive and see all your experiments there. You can share them, so it's very easy to work with that integration. So I think that's it that I wanted to show you today. So if you have any questions, I think we're taking at the end, or while we have other presentations, if you have any questions, you can let me know on the chat.
Thank you, Roxana. That was absolutely brilliant. And I've already seen your presentation before and was already inspired by the Zipline activity. And I want to put my phone in something and use lots of string. And so I'm going to go away and I'm going to try that because I do like the app a lot. Yeah. So thank you.
Very simple activities, but you sometimes do things, but you cannot see what is the result of that. So when you have some visualization of the things you're doing, you can actually learn and see, oh, that's interesting. I have never thought about that. So it's very ready to use. Students just need a phone and then start playing with the data. So it's really good.
Yeah, it is really good. Oh, thank you. Thanks very much. Okay, I'm gonna Anna, can we see you? Sent you a are you there? We can see your presentation, so that's good.
Okay.
Sent you a webcam request.
There we go. Can you see me now?
We can, yeah.
Lovely.
Right, so so welcome. So apologies that Amy from Microbit can't make it today, but we've got Anna from Microbit, who has stepped in very kindly last minute, but she's going to do a brilliant job, of course. So Anna Spanova is an education production assistant at Microbit. She was a primary school teacher for 7 years before joining the foundation. Prior to that, a website editor. So that was mostly for education organisations such as Girl Guide in UK and a range of universities. So welcome, Anna. We're looking forward to finding out a little bit about how the Microbit can help us with data and data logging. I'll hand over to you.
Well, hello everybody. I'm quite new to Microbit myself, as I've been working for them for only a month now. So if you are new to it, don't panic. It's very simple to pick up. If you go to our website, and the URL is there on the screen, and then visit the Get Started section, there's a whole load of information there for somebody who's new to Microbit, and just give it a try. You don't actually have to have a physical Microbit to have a go, because there's something called a MakeCode editor, and that includes a Microbit simulator. So it will show you what a physical Microbit would do. So if it's all new to you, just have a go and see. And if you like it, then you might want to go ahead and buy one. So today I'm going to talk about data logging and how you can log data with the Microbit. So data logging is the recording of data over time, and it's often used in schools for science experiments to record environmental or physical data. So you might want to record data over a short period of time. You might want to, for example, throw an object in the air and measure its acceleration as it falls. Or you might want to measure something over a longer period of time, such as recording sound levels over a day, or temperature and light levels over a week or more. So a lot of schools do own data logging machines, but they can cost quite a lot of money, sometimes hundreds of pounds. So it might be an idea to get yourself a Microbit. It's quite inexpensive to buy one, and it will do exactly the same job. So data logging is kind of a new feature for Microbit. You have always been able to measure light, temperature, magnetism, which means direction, sound and acceleration or movement with the Microbit. That's always been a feature. However, recently we've developed the ability to record and store the data from the sensors on the Microbit itself. So to do this, you will need the latest version of the Microbit, or what we would call the V2 version 2. So it will record all the data for you, and then you can open the data in a spreadsheet, and that will allow your students to analyse the data statistically and then visualise it using line graphs or bar charts. So before you do your data logging, it's a good idea to make a plan, and you and your students could work together on that. What data is it you want to collect? How often? You might want to add a visual indication on the Microbit to show when the data is being logged. You may want to control how the data logging starts or stops, so you can program it. Press button A, it will start. Press button B, it will stop, for example. And you also might want to program into your program what you want to happen if the data log is full. So perhaps something will come up on the Microbit and it will show you a smiley face, for example. You may want to erase the data, and you can do that in two ways. You can either put that into your program, or you can refresh your program a bit. So that just means downloading the program onto your Microbit again. So either way, I've been trying it out, and I've just been doing this, just downloading it again. It's really simple. So in a few weeks' time, there's going to be a new version of the MakeCode editor launched that allows for data logging. But for now, if you want to try it out, then you'll need to use a beta MakeCode editor. And if you want to have a look at it, if you open the beta MakeCode editor at the web address shown on the screen, and then all you will need to do is you click on to Advanced Blocks and then Extensions. and then all the different extensions will appear, including the data logger one, and you just select that one and it will put it into the MakeCode editor for you. So when you start to program your microbit, the first thing you'll need to do is to set up some column headings. So what you don't really want is to get a load of information and then not know what those numbers represent. So in this example here, you can log temperature and light data. So all we've done here is just set the columns to say temperature at the top and light. So these are your column headings really. And an array there is just meaning a table. So it's going to set up a table for you with those two column headings. And then you can add this block in the MakeCode editor. What this will do is when you press button A, it will log your data for you. And it also flashes a heart onto the LED display. And obviously the heart really doesn't do anything. It's just to show you that the program's working. So once you've written your program in the MakeCode editor, you flash the program to your microbit or download it, and then you can disconnect it from the computer, attach it to a battery pack, and you can start lating the data anywhere you like at a push of a button. So I've been playing with it this week, and I've been measuring temperature. I've attached a battery pack to mine, and I've had to walk around the house, and I've pressed the button in the fridge, I've pressed the button in the freezer, and I've pressed the button in my conservatory, which always gets really hot, and then compared what the temperatures are in different parts of my house. So the data that you collect, it will stay on your microbit even if you disconnect the batteries. They're quite handy if your batteries run out. So there is a way of programming as well. So instead of having to press the button to record data, you can do automatic login. So this is using a block called the Every block, which is in the loops category on the MakeCode editor, and it will record your data at regular intervals. So the program I'm about to show you on the next screen, it will log the accelerometer readings in 3 dimensions 10 times every second. So every 10 seconds, it's recording where your microbit is in space. So it lets you start and stop the logging by pressing button A, and then a little heart appears on the display to show you that it's logging the data. And then you can also delete the log by pressing buttons A and B together if the log is full. And it also shows an X on the display to warn you that the log is full. So you can see this one, it's sort of, you know, compared to the first one, it looks quite complicated, but that's what all the different blocks do, different functions. All of these programs that you can try out, by the way, they are going to be put on our website, so you can have a look on there and follow the instructions and step by step before you go through it with your students. So once the data has been logged on the microbit, you just plug your microbit back into your laptop or your desktop computer, and the microbit will appear, and it will just look like a USB drive called microbit. And then if you look in there, there's a file called My Data. You double click on My Data to open it in a web browser, and then you'll be able to see a table with all your data in it. So what your students can do now, they can use a copy button to copy the data, and then they can paste it straight into a spreadsheet like Microsoft Excel, Google Sheets, or Apple Numbers. They can preview the data visually as a graph in the My Data file on the microbit, or alternatively, you can download the data as a CSV file, and you can import that into the spreadsheet. What we've been trying it out, and we found in Excel, scatter graphs are a really good way to plot time accurately against your data, and Google Sheets, the line graph is a good option. You don't need to worry about your data because the data stays on the microbit and on the computer. So if you copy it or download it, it doesn't get uploaded to the internet or shared with anybody else unless you choose to. You can also use your microbit to log data without any internet connection. So if your computer's not online, then the My Data webpage just looks a little bit different. So on our website, we've got loads of resources to help you if you're just getting started with data handling, if you're just getting started with a microbit. We've got a series of 5 lessons which are suitable for children in year 5, or Key Stage 2 year 5, or age 9 to 10 in England. And the pupils can explore data and sensors on the microbit, and there's a range of activities. Some of those are plugged and some unplugged. And you can also download free PowerPoints, worksheets, and the hex or code files that you put into the MakeCode editor. Also on our website, we've got lots and lots of projects. There are quite a few projects related to data handling and recording data. If you just have a look at that URL on our website there. There's explanatory text, there's lots of introductory videos that you can show to your students, and then the code files. So you haven't actually got to build the code yourself, you can just download those. Then really we could go straight to questions.
Brilliant, thanks very much for that. Wow, that was really inspiring. Lots of really good resources you can download from the Microbit website. So thank you, Anna. You've done a brilliant job. You know your stuff about the Microbit. Thanks for that. You've disappeared. Wendy, was there any questions for Roxana or for? Oh, you're back. Brilliant.
Everyone's back. Brilliant. Yeah, there's just a couple of questions. First of all, this is one for Roxana. They said, I really liked the Explore More section of the lessons on your platform for extending those more able students with their learning. But they were wondering if there's any guidance or on the best way to support lower ability students, whether there's any guidance sort of within the resources or how you could recommend, if not, lower ability students can be supported with the activities that you've got there.
Well, there's on the platform there's a getting started session, so section where you know everything about how the platform works, how your phone works, but specifically to that kind of approach we don't have. But if you need something specifically, you can always reach us. Like you can write me, and I can share with you some strategies or some tips. You can work with that with your students. So yes, there's no problem with that. Because then it will be interesting to know more specifically what they would need. And based on that, I will be super happy to share some more information. So of course,
you contact me. It's good to know people can contact you directly. That's excellent. Thank you. And Anna, the question is, this person is thinking about purchasing some physical kit in their school. They're not sure whether to get microbits. They've heard about crumbles. I don't know if you or Sarah, I know Sarah has a lot of expertise as well in this area, could answer that question about what are maybe the main differences between them. Is one preferable over another, or what would you advise in terms of purchasing kit for school?
I feel like I'm probably quite biased, but Sarah, what would you say?
Yeah, so I've used both. I've used the microbits and the crumbles. They are recommended in the Teach Computing curriculum as well. My advice would be just you go with both really. The microbit has got more I suppose capability, more functionality really than the crumble. And you can also use not just, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but you can use things that you don't just have to use block code as well with the microbit. You can go a bit further with it and use Python. So if it was me, I would be sort of challenging the year 5s and 6s using the microbit, and maybe using Crumble with year 3 and 4. But both of them can be used throughout Key Stage 2. I just think the more physical equipment that children can access, the more likely they are to be inspired to take computer science, you know, at secondary school. So yes, not preferring one of the other at all. They both are brilliant. As an unbiased point of view there.
Thank you. Just a comment from somebody else who's been watching this live webinar saying that they couldn't see the microbit presentation. So don't worry, because it was on the screen for the rest of us. I'm sorry that you had problems, but you will be able to view the recording shortly. We're going to put a link at the top of the events page by the end of tomorrow. Which will mean that you'll be able to find the recordings for all the webinars very easily. It will replace the kind of sign up link at the moment. So sorry that you had some problems, but don't worry, you will be able to watch it again and see the presentation. So just to respond to that.
Thanks, Wendy. And just to add to that, Roxana and Microbit do come if you are interested in you know, finding out a little bit more about the microbit and the Arduino Science Journal app, then keep an eye on the CAS events on the CAS website, because I'm sure that we'll be inviting you to more CAS communities, both of you, in the autumn. Thank you very much. Thanks both of you. Absolutely inspiring. I've seen both of the I've seen you both sort of present before, so I know that, you know, you've got some, they're just brilliant, really inspired. I am going off to do the Zipline thing later, like I said. Anyway, right, thank you everybody. At the end of this webinar, a short survey will appear on the screen. Would be really happy if you take a minute to complete the survey. A recording of the webinar, like Wendy said, will be available later on the CAS YouTube channel. Our final session tomorrow for the CAS Virtual Showcase is looking at supporting learners with SEND through a blended approach. It's with Catherine Elliott. She's absolutely brilliant. It's at 12 o'clock. Please sign up. If you can't attend because you're in school, sign up, and then you get the video recording afterwards. So get booking for that session if you can. It's our last one of a brilliant virtual showcase. So that's us done for today. Thanks for joining. Have a lovely rest of your day. And thanks again to Wendy for all her support with the questions there, and Roxana and Anna as well for brilliant presentations. Have a lovely day.
Thank you, you too.
Bye.
Bye.